Here goes nothing. I am so excited and so nervous to discuss this fragrance today. I shouldn't be, but man, this one, it just means a lot to me. It's really freaking good, and I'm gonna do my best through experiences to explain how good this fragrance is. Words can only do so much, so I will encourage you, if this in any way resonates with you, seek out a sample. Please do not blind buy this because it is very expensive. But just to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert, this fragrance literally changed my mind on quality in fragrance. So the fragrance we're talking about today is Soudain L'Hiver from Henry Jacques. This is the first time I'm going to be reviewing a Henry Jacques, and we'll see if I do it justice. So, gosh, if you're excited to learn about a luxury French perfume, stick around and I'll break it down for you. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, also known as Scent Nick. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you're new here, I create content mainly in the form of detailed reviews with the occasional list. If that is something that interests you, please consider hitting the like button, drop me a comment below of literally anything, and join our community by hitting the red subscribe button. And now let's get back to this review. So let's just give a quick introduction to Henry Jacques. So really, most people don't know about this house until you're deep into the fragrance game and you start seeing this magical bottle appear, and oftentimes people having a reaction of, oh sheesh, he just got his first HJ. It's because they're really expensive, guys. So we're just gonna start off with that. So a 75 milliliter bottle of this costs $750 retail, I believe. And I feel like that's on the cheap side, to be completely honest. Now, you cannot buy this at a discounter. It's not available. You can only get this either directly through Henry Jacques, or you can maybe find it on a gray market, and in which case, do your due diligence to make sure it's real. Now, I do not know the perfumer for this. They keep that kind of under lock and key. The previous perfumer for Henry Jacques was Laurent Small, which he's no longer with them, but he was a legendary perfumer. If you know the perfumer for this fragrance, I would love to know. Now, the scent profile for Soudain L'Hiver is going to be a woody chypre fragrance, and it is classic to the max. And I think they did a pretty dang good job. So, like I said, Henry Jacques is the pinnacle of French luxury perfume. They're expensive, and if you ever get your nose on it, you will know instantly what I'm talking about. There's something about these fragrances that literally smells divine. This is the only other fragrance house that can either match or maybe even top Raja Parfums. I was blown away. This was the first one I got, and it was instant love. Top notes for this are going to include pine and cedar. Those are the listed notes. There's a lot more going on in there, but it sets the tone. Those two things are the key notes that you are going to experience for the rest of the wearing. The pine is the most photorealistic, luscious, plump, and kind of pungent pine note you'll ever smell. You are literally walking through a pine forest. That's how real this smells. The cedar is dry. It's very dry, and it's kind of smoky. The smoke may also be coming from the olive oil in the base, but we'll get there. But really, you get just set up with the perfect fall and winter scent. Dry, piney, but you also get the most beautiful, it's not listed, sparkling citruses, either be it mandarin, bergamot, I think there's a little bit of lemon in here. It's all there. They don't list it, but there is just clean, bright, effervescent citrus that's going on. I'm assuming there's a ton of hedione in this because it is huge to start off with. The heart is going to include neroli, jasmine, and rosemary. Oh my gosh, it's so good. If you can tell, I'm a little excited about this. I am. I don't normally hype up fragrances, and like I'm trying to control the hype on this one because hype doesn't really do much. It is what it is. But the heart is fantastic. You still get some of that pininess from the opening and some of the moss from the base, aiding in that green coniferous vibe. But the neroli, which oftentimes is very sharp, very scratchy, we'll say, and can be too soapy, it's perfect in this. The layers in the heart alone are incredible. I would say the most prominent note here is the jasmine. It's, again, just opulent. It's intoxicating. It is real smelling jasmine. It doesn't smell like a synthetic thing. You get just this rich, sultry, creamy jasmine. That's the forefront. And right behind it is the neroli and then the rosemary. The rosemary is perfectly herbal in this. It doesn't go bitter. It adds, interestingly enough, a bit of warmth, that herbal dryness, and a little bit of sweetness. It's the weirdest thing, but there is this odd amount of sweetness going on in here. And I think part of that comes from the rosemary. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about the opening, that pine note is so real. It almost has this animalic touch to it. You smell just a little bit of animalic touch in the opening. It's there and then it's gone. It's subtle, but it's enough to get you like, what is this I'm smelling? It smells good. Now, the base is going to be a mixture of oak moss, leather, and olibanum. And this is when the chypre accord just is finalized. So obviously a chypre is comprised of bergamot, which I'm sure is in the beginning. The jasmine is part of that accord, and then the oak moss. And I don't know when this was released. I think it's fairly new, or maybe within the last few years, but it's definitely after oak moss was banned. Now, there may be a tiny amount of real oak moss. I really think that the perfumer did a masterful job of recreating a real oak moss accord. For those that don't know, oak moss is a highly allergenic raw material that is reactive to many people's skin, hence why it's been banned. But it's such a shame because it's a beautiful thing. You get this rich, green, pungent, earthy, slightly smoky vibe from the olibanum. The leather is expensive smelling. It's woven in beautifully. It's more of the vintage style leather. It's not a modern oily leather. And that olibanum, I love olibanum. It may be my favorite resin. Olibanum is very dry. It's very similar to like a frankincense, but this really produces a smoky, incensey kind of thing. And in here, it's not forefront, it's behind it, giving it depth, this mystical feeling, a little touch of smoke. But all throughout this, there's just so much going on. I would highly bet that there's many other woods at play, especially sandalwood, some other cedars, and I bet you there's some ambergris in here because it's got the most minimal amount of this marine, salty vibe. It's so subtle, you have to really pay attention to pick it out. And it's incredible. Now, the concentration of this, I don't know exactly what the concentration of this is. I'm guessing it's around 30 to 35%. These are extrait de parfums. They have the oil versions as well, which are very dense and they're equally as expensive. I will be getting one of the oils of this one soon because I'll be real, this may have become my most favorite fragrance in my collection, my #1 of all time. So with that, we're going to get into the questions. Is this original? Yeah, this is incredible. This is, I don't know. There's things that you could try to say it smells like, but you're not gonna get anywhere close. Someone once said that it smells kind of like polo green. I went and smelled polo green just to try it. It's not the same. You know, there's similar vibes, being that really green, piney, smoky thing, but this is on a whole nother tier. Like, this is God tier, guys. Now, the audience for this fragrance is utterly masculine through and through and very mature. I'm gonna put this at 30 years and up, and obviously with this price tag, it's insanely expensive. Now, the occasions you're gonna wanna wear this is a fall and winter time kind of scent. You could probably wear it in the spring as well. This is signature scent style stuff, and this is also fancy occasion, you know, make a statement kind of thing. The performance is really nice. You get a good longevity, about 8 to 10 hours. You might get more, but you may go nose blind to it. The projection is quite strong to start off with, but then it really settles back into the most luxurious skin scent. And this is that kind of fragrance that is not looking to make a statement of being loud, obnoxious, you know, be intrusive. This makes a statement by saying, I smell like $1,000,000 and I know it. Literally, I've talked about this before. The first time I ever wore this, I literally stood up taller, my chest went out, and I was just like, oh, you smell rich. You smell like You've got life put together, whatever that means. Don't put any weight on that. But this takes you to a whole nother tier. That's how many Henry Jacques do. They just smell so good. The Perfumery is mastery. So all that being said, we're gonna get onto the score. This gets a 9.5. Absolutely. I will put this above my Rojas. It's divine, guys. I can't highly recommend it enough to go smell it, or any other HJs out there. I don't know what they're doing, but they have some wizardry at work. This is a masterpiece. Like, it changed my life when I smelled it. It's that good. So, all that being said, I hope I did this fragrance justice. This is not purely hype. I'm trying to remain as objective as I could with this. Obviously, there are some emotions at play, some personal tastes, but truly, if you smell one of these fragrances, you will understand how good these are. These are not synthetic. These are not meant for the younger crowd. This is another tier. This is vintage, classic Perfumery, and the best it could ever be. With that, guys, if you enjoyed this review, please hit the like button, drop me a comment below, and hit that red subscribe button to join our community, and we'll see you in the next one.